Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. So I have a question for you. Have you ever been accused of being too spiritual? Yes, too spiritual. Even though that all seems like an oxymoron. Like, how can something as beautiful as spirituality, personal growth, love, kindness, compassion, and doing your very best every single day, every single moment to practice that? To practice becoming the version of yourself that is the truth of who you are. So, if you're like me and you've been I get a lot of people who randomly fall on this page and they go, man, what are you doing there? I don't get it. Well, here's something I think you're going to absolutely love. You are going to get this. So a recent study was done during COVID, and they were talking about how COVID and just the experience, where do we begin, right? We'll just call it the COVID experience, and how it made a lot of people feel more spiritual. And it was interesting because they defined spirituality with three terms or three practices, three ways that people kind of show up spiritually. First one was compassion. Second one was vulnerability. And the third one was love. So if you hear that list and you go, okay, I'm all about that list. I'm all about bringing those things into my life. I'm all about circulating those things into the world. You're going to love this because that's what they defined as being spiritual. Now, on top of that, what's so beautiful is they saw that people who were more inclined to be bringing those three practices into their life, so spiritual practices, they showed to have a very interesting shift in their brains. In fact, those centers in our brain, when we're practicing it, are associated with better memory, more positivity, more emotional resilience, more acceptance, and more of the things that actually fight systemic inflammation. So when I hear that, I think to myself, okay, compassion, vulnerability, love, expressing those, bringing those into the world, impressing those is like, it's like stardust for your physiology. It's like a complete emotional upgrade for your emotional opportunities to be more resilient in the world and show up in such a way that you become a form of contagion. So if you have been or continue to be or working towards being accused of being a spiritual being, then I just want to say thank you. The world knows that those three practices as well tend to be the most contagious of all the emotional contagion. They far, far out-express. They're much more powerful. They're more infectious than hate, than judgment, than critiquing, than disconnecting because you dehumanize, or so many things that have happened during COVID, right? The way things have been politicized, the way that we have seen various ways that people have shown up in this experience. And that's not a judgment, it's a discernment. So here's the opportunity as a spiritual person. These are the most infectious, contagious qualities that humans actually look for and bond with, regardless of whether or not they would ever consider themselves spiritual, regardless whether or not you'd ever say, oh, that's them over there, and this is the us over here. There's no such thing as us and them. There's only the one. There's only really this idea that we are better together, and we get an opportunity to express it every single day of our life. So the ones who've been accused of being spiritual are the ones who also now being asked to step up, to radiate greater and more vibratory than ever, and go out there and do it in public. Go out there and let the world see these qualities. Let yourself see these qualities, because your brain is better, your heart is better, your physiology, your hormones, everything responds better under the influence of these spiritual qualities. And yes, they tend to have a wonderful feeling and vibrating in the frequency, metaphysically, yes, I'm talking metaphysically and scientifically, to contagion for other beings who are looking for hope, looking for love, looking to feel more vulnerable and compassionate themselves. So, have a beautiful day being you. Thank you for who you are and all that you do. I love you, I see you, and I believe in you. Peace and blessings. Bye for now.